Hi everyone. So this is basically just an introductory video where I say welcome to English 243, Shakespeare's major works. You had a number of really interesting choices for summer classes this particular summer, and so I appreciate you choosing mine. I know that Shakespeare tends to get a lot of enrollment to fulfill major department requirements and all of that, but I still appreciate your choosing to take this course. My name is Bernard Krumm. I recently completed my PhD in English at Stony Brook University. One or two of you may know me from prior courses. And my focus as a researcher and a teacher has been Shakespeare and his contemporaries. So the way that I've structured the course may be slightly unconventional in the sense that I'm sort of immersing you in a lot of background information about Shakespeare, about the time period, and about Shakespeare in performance, because I imagine that all of you probably have a little bit of Shakespeare under your belt, whether you've taken a course before, whether you read him in 205, or maybe you've taken another Shakespeare course, whether you have, reading him in high school. And so I wanted to give you background about Shakespeare as a dramatist, background about early modern London, the time and the place in which Shakespeare was writing, and also about how Shakespeare is performed and what are some of the practices and conventions with regards to Shakespeare and performance, with regards to interpreting Shakespeare's texts. Shakespeare is unlike much of the literature you may read because it is primarily intended for performance, right? Although depending on how you were taught it at whatever level, you know Shakespeare as being this, literary genius, right? Or at least he's held, put on that pedestal. And so the purpose of this course is not to knock Shakespeare down from that pedestal, but to provide some literary historical context, and to focus on both Shakespeare's work in terms of it being a text to be read and also a play to be performed. And also to remember that Shakespeare is writing, for a commercial theater, writing in collaboration with other dramatists. So Christopher Marlowe, somebody that you may know, the writer of Dr. Faustus. So, that's why I'm sort of front-loading you with background information about Shakespeare before we start to read the plays. And the first play we read will be the history play, Richard II, and then we move on to the comedy, Midsummer Night's Dream, and then we read a problem play, which I'll provide a lecture that explains what the problem play is. And then two tragedies, Othello and King Lear, and then the Winter's Tale, which is the romance. And I'll also explain in the lecture notes what one defines romance. So that's what you can expect as far as the readings are concerned. Assignments are basically, there are four major things to keep your eye on. The first being the weekly discussion board posts. This week you're only doing one post. For the rest of the weeks, except for the week of the final exam, you will be doing two posts, one due on Thursday and one due on Sunday. I usually make the posts due at midnight. I've chosen this time around to have them due at 5 o'clock. But, there is some flexibility, but all of the work for the learning module needs to be completed by the end of the learning module if you want me to grade it, basically. That's my rule as far as the deadlines are concerned. And then, so it's that the discussion posts seem insignificant because they're only individually worth 2.5 points. The first post for the first week is worth 5 total, and which includes responding to one of your peers' post. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you miss 1, 2, 3, 4, those add up, right? So, the summer classes are rigorous and they're demanding, so you're expected to complete all of the work on time. There is a little bit of flexibility with deadlines depending on a case-by-case basis, but the expectation is that you complete all the assignments on time. And so, I have that expectation of each of you that you do that. The other assignments, there's a performance review, and there's information describing what you're expected to do for the performance review on the syllabus. There's also a passage analysis, which is due at the end of the semester. And then again, if you look at the syllabus, there's more information describing what you're expected to do for the passage analysis. And then there's a final exam in week 8. And so week 8 is sort of a weird week because the session ends that Saturday. Excuse me. But, so that entire week is devoted to your sort of like reviewing the lectures, reviewing your notes, reviewing, maybe going back and rereading some of the plays if you really feel inclined. But, if you're taking notes along the way and you're listening to lectures, reading lecture notes, reading all of the plays, you shouldn't have a problem with the final exam. So the final exam is the last week of the semester. So those are the 4, I guess you can say, major assignments: weekly, twice a week discussion board posts, performance review of a live or taped theatrical production or a film version of one of the plays that we've read. If you want to do another play that we haven't read, that's probably fine. I want you to talk to me about it and give me some information about the production or the film. And then the passage analysis toward the end of the term, and then the final exam. Okay. So those are the 4 major the components of the course upon which you're going to be graded. As I said, keeping up with the deadlines is really important because the summer goes by very quickly. Keeping up with the reading is very important because the summer goes by very quickly. So if you engage with all the course materials and you do all the work on time and you submit all your assignments on time, you should expect this to be a very successful summer term. But, the world being what it is, crazy, I understand people may need an extension, or they may need some kind of accommodation, and those will be made on a case-by-case basis. The other things that I can say, the best way to reach me is email. I will meet with you via Zoom if you'd like, by appointment only. I don't have set scheduled office hours, so you would have to email me to make an appointment if you want to talk about something, and I'm more than happy to do that. But email is the best way to contact me, and I do respond usually very quickly. And if you have any course-related questions, you can email me. But you can also use the General Discussions Forum on Blackboard to ask broad course questions that don't directly pertain to your situation, that are just maybe relevant to the whole class. You can ask those questions there. So, that's how we will communicate. I'll also be posting regular announcements on Blackboard. And those, I'll make sure that they send directly to your email. So keep up with your Stony Brook email throughout the term in order to keep up to date with what's going on with the course. And then the only other thing I think bears mentioning is that I expect all assignments to be completed with academic honesty. I do not tolerate plagiarism, and there's a lot less tolerance for plagiarism, especially for a summer course where one assignment means a lot more because we're such a compressed term. So the expectation being that all the discussion board posts, the performance review, the passage analysis, everything must be done with the utmost academic honesty and integrity. Not all cases of plagiarism are the same, but I have this expectation. Most of you are English majors, and I imagine, you are passionate about, or at least somewhat interested in, literary studies. If you're struggling with the language, if you're struggling with keeping up with the deadlines, the answer is not to cheat on anything. The answer is to contact me, and we can discuss it. And I will literally sit with you and talk to you about a passage that you're struggling to understand. I will do that for you. And because I'm willing to do that for you, I then expect you to treat the course with respect, treat your peers with respect, because you are communicating with them when you respond on, to their points, and to treat me with respect, and know that I have a lot of experience with plagiarism. I've been teaching, for 5 years, which is not a lot, but even in those 5 years, I've had a lot of plagiarism cases, and I'm pretty good at spotting them. Um, so I just, you know, if you take the course seriously, if you complete your assignments on time, and if you complete them honestly, um, you will do well in this course. And we're also reading literature. We're reading really interesting literature that invites a lot of conversation, and it has invited a lot of conversation for the last 400 years. Um, so I hope, my hope is that you will find the course to be interesting. You will find the course to be engaging. You'll find that you have a lot to talk about when you read the plays. And know that I am here to answer your questions, and to help you solve any problems that you may be having, as long as it's within my ability to do so. So that's pretty much it. Keep up with the readings, keep up with the lectures, keep up with the assignments, and you're going to be in really good shape. And hopefully, this will be a very successful and, knock on wood, a fairly smooth summer session. I think that's pretty much it. So, welcome to the course, and thank you for choosing it. And if you have any questions about the syllabus, which is available on Blackboard now, if you have any questions about the assignments, the readings, anything, please let me know, and we can talk about it. Okay. Thank you again, and I wish you all the best of luck this semester. It should be fun.